Okay, so I think we are live. Okay, so I wanted to make this video real quick. I was literally in the shower and it just kind of popped in my head. So what you're seeing on screen now, I'm pretty sure, is the wrong screen. Okay, this is the right one. So this is the Oculus Quest that I have here. And this is what it's seeing. And as you can see, there's no cables, there's nothing connected. And that's kind of the point of this video, where I was thinking about it and it's like, what can you do? I covered the sensor so it lost tracking. You know, what can you do with the thing I showed, I think it was the day before yesterday, you know, connecting your phone over, not just over your computer, but over Wi-Fi. And I thought about it, and this is basically just an Android phone. So the same thing actually applied to this, where I was able to get this streaming over Wi-Fi. And I can go over it really quickly in a second. I just want to show you how it actually works. But if you want a more in-depth walkthrough, you can watch the video that I posted, the stream I did 2 days ago. But the idea is that I have virtual desktop, which lets me get onto my computer. And I know that I can put my phone on my computer via that screen copy thing that I showed the other day, and I'll show here in a second again. And you know, I was able to do the same thing with this. So now everything's connected wirelessly. I have my desktop being streamed to this. I have my phone being streamed to my desktop. And what you're seeing here is this actually being streamed also to the desktop. Now this is way overkill for the sake of how many Wi-Fi devices you probably want to have connected at any given time. I mean, there's no way you're going to be playing this, unless your router's amazing, that you're going to be using this with, you know, Half-Life or something like that, where it's very a demanding game. But if you're playing most things and what you need is your phone, then it should be fine, because this is literally the only thing that you're doing. And we can add settings where we limit the amount of bandwidth that this phone screen is using to be cast, in order to make it, you know, relatively simple in the sense of the resources that it's using. So I'm gonna just hop into the Quest for a second. And here you can see I was in the browser looking up some stuff on PokerStars VR, which is my new addiction. But what I'm going to go do, which is not something you want to say about poker, gambling in VR, yeah. Anyway, going to virtual desktop. And right away, this should pop into my desktop because I'm already connected. And it did not. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can still use my actual keyboard. I'm going to hop over to the other side. This is the chat. My mouse isn't working because of these remotes, but I can resize just with these. And I'm going to minimize this screen. This is the actual Quest left and right eye. This is actually what's getting sent to the computer. I'm only showing you half of it on the other thing. And then you notice I have my phone here, and I apparently have a missed call. It's 5:06, so you know this is live. This is happening as it is. And you can see I can go in here and use my phone, and I'm still in VR. So if I have a Bluetooth headset in, I can go and I can check my messages, and I can do all that stuff from here without having to leave VR. So if I want to pick up a phone call and I'm playing Half-Life Alyx or something like that, you know, you can go from Steam VR. Which I guess I'll click it for the sake of this. Let's see if it works. Max, hold on. Are you okay? It's my dog. He wants to go out. Let's see if this actually works. I haven't tried this part yet. But as you can see, I'm in my headset using virtual desktop. I can see my phone. I can see my text if I want, you know, if I was so inclined to show you all my personal information. And everything works pretty well. I mean, you notice even here, I'm still at 72 frames a second in the headset. CPU, GPU on the headset's not being used. I think I'm the one that set that 4 megabit limit in the ADB settings, but okay, so apparently this didn't work. Let's see if, oh, it's updating Steam, of course. It only waits for it to be live for it to happen. But let me see if I installed PokerStars VR. So this is PokerStars VR, the desktop version. I'm going to see if it loads. I literally just installed it not too long before I actually started this feed. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know. That's the joys of live. I probably shouldn't click them both because now we're going to do we're going to do the Oculus VR and then we're also going to do Steam VR. Let's see how this works. But as you can see, it's really responsive, which is virtual desktop. That's, you know, credit to them. But the point is, I'm in VR again. There's my phone. And iPhone users, I think there is also a thing that you can do on iOS. So the point of this video is not so much screen copy, which is definitely just Android. Apparently this didn't work, and I think it's because I launched the Oculus thing. I think I launched that, and that sort of messed it up. But the iPhone users, I think Xcode lets you guys do a similar emulation. And that way you'd be able to get your iPhone on the screen. I think you have to be tethered though, but Android users, which I feel is probably going to be the vast majority of anybody who's doing stuff with like SideQuest or anything like that. Which, speaking of, I can double click on SideQuest and it'll open up. And this is the other part of the video that I wanted to show. The games didn't load up, but it's only because I haven't actually used any of my PC VR games, so I'm sure there's some issue with where the libraries are stored. But if you notice here, it says Oculus Quest at the top, and it has my local IP, at least the one I gave it now. My headset's 26%. And I can go over here to this little grid, and it tells me the currently installed apps, and there they are, all my apps on this headset that's wireless, that's connected wirelessly. And at the same time, I haven't actually tried it. Maybe I'll do it while I'm on here. And I can go back to home. And again, the benefit is since I'm in here, I can also change my environment. So if I don't want to be sitting at this, you know, this desktop computer, I can literally be over here and browsing this in the cinema, which is actually one of the better looking cinema environments. So this is one of the issues I've always had with SideQuest before today, where it's, what do you do when you want to get a new game and you want to check it out? You literally have to go and you have to log into, you know, your computer and then plug in your Quest. And, you know, for example, my computer is actually in a very uncomfortable position right now just because it's over there somewhere like on the floor. So when I have to connect it, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But with this, it's wirelessly hooked up. I can look for, you know, whatever game I'm going to do, and it should hopefully still pull everything. And so let's see, maybe this one we can try. Install latest, and it says installing, and if we go over here, it is downloading it, which is 6. I probably should have picked, so I kind of wish, and I say wish because I didn't even check, that you knew how big the downloads were, because I would have just picked a smaller one. There's a lot of stuff going on right now wirelessly, and my router already has some issues. So the fact that this is working this well is good enough. Now, if you're noticing any lag in the actual Quest screencast, which I should probably check to make sure that is still happening. So it looks like it might have stopped for a second. It looks like when I switched the environment, it might have swapped out. So SideQuest froze there for a second. Not SideQuest, excuse me. The browser I was using, the screen copy window, excuse me, was acting up. Now it looks like it's okay. So we'll go back here while it's on my head. And it still says downloading. It's 80%. It should be done pretty quickly. But the point is that it looks like it's going to work. So hopefully it does. But as you can see, my head is, you know, it's on my head. It's tracking. We're in the theater. So we can look around, and those are all the theater seats. And I think the sticker that I have on here, so this doesn't shut off, just got off. This is off to an amazing start, by the way, isn't it? That's my Guardian. There's the screen again. I guess it, let's see, I gotta reposition. So there we are. And let me check my phone to see what's going on here. Yeah, so this, I mean, it's amazing that you can do this, and it's actually working relatively well. I did limit the amount of data that this is sending back into the computer, but that's mostly just because I didn't want things to die on live TV, on live, whatever. Look, it's installed. So this is Attack on Quest. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to hop out of virtual desktops. I'm going to click this, and it's screaming. So I'm going to go quit. And when you quit, it actually, I have it set to lock the thing. That way if I'm in a different room and I don't want anybody using my computer, what I can do here is stop blocking the camera so it doesn't lose tracking. So I'm going to recenter this again, and I'm going to find the and this is that new version 15, the new experimental UI. So in here you have to go over to the right and click all. I'm sure if you've used SideQuest before, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So let me find unknown sources. And I'm a big fan of SideQuest. I'm always testing something new. This is that game, Attack on Quest. I literally just downloaded this, Wi-Fi, wirelessly. Max, come here. So let's see if it loads. I've never played this before. I don't know how long it takes to load. I don't even know if it's a good name. Good game. How'd you get back there? Let me make sure that this is still... Bring down the volume a little bit. Holy shit, okay. What are those? So, what the hell is that? Are these grappling hooks? So I've never actually played this game, and I think it's supposed to be, and there's a timer? Like, how am I supposed to? So, I've never played Attack on Quest, seen even like the Attack on Titan stuff, which I think is what this is supposed to be. So, I don't know, but the point I'm trying to show is like this is working, so you can see the the swords, and everything's working. But also, it's wirelessly. It also, well, of course it's wireless, but it also was able to do it wirelessly. I was able to load SideQuest through virtual desktop, find the games I was trying to use, and get them on the Quest without needing to plug into the computer. For me, that's kind of a game changer. And I keep covering up the tracking cameras. That's why it keeps freaking out. But the point is, you can use your phone wirelessly. You can download games wirelessly from SideQuest onto the phone. Like, there's so many uses I can see now that I see myself... There's so many uses I see myself using. Yeah, does that make any sense? No, there's so many things I see myself doing with it that it just makes it so much more convenient. If I'm bored with any of the games or with any of the things I'm doing, or even if I make something myself in Unreal and want to pop it onto the Quest, it's all done through ADB, so it's all pretty simple. And as you can tell, that is pretty much it for this. So the only thing I'm going to show, I'll go to my desktop real quick, and I'm going to close SideQuest, exit SideQuest. I'm going to make sure this is the right window. Okay, that's it. So if you watch yesterday's video, you'll see that the main thing I needed to do was download the screen copy stuff, which I'll put in the description again, and opened up a shell in that folder. So this right here, so shift right click on open PowerShell there. And while the Quest is plugged in, you do have to plug it in once, or the phone, or whatever happens to be Android. All I have to do is ADB, I'm just going through my things. So it was literally just running this command, TCP/IP, which just gives it a port that this thing can check. And the only different thing I had to do with the Quest was use this command to get the IP. So if I click on it now, it's probably not going to do anything useful. Yeah, see, so there's nothing plugged in directly. It's not going to tell me. But if it is plugged in, what it's going to do is give you the IP address on your local network for the Quest. And this is important because without it, you can't do this command, which is ADB. And you actually don't need this stuff, I found out. I'm just used to using it in there. ADB connect, and then give it, I think in this case, my Quest was 10. So 10 on port 555, and it's able to, or whatever port you give it, you can actually specify If I'm not mistaken, you could specify it yourself, but all the examples used 5555, so that's what I recommend you use. But the point is that this shell IP just lets you find the Quest IP address, which is the address that you're going to be using to connect to it via Wi-Fi. Because unlike the phone where you can actually go into the About Me settings and whatever and find it there, there's no way that you can get it on the Quest that I know of. It does give you the MAC address, but that's different. So this gives you a way. So it was basically that, and then once you have that set up, you can do this ADB connect to make sure it's connected. And I went over in the other video, so you can take a look at that, but you can also add extra commands to the Quest stuff. So this is what I did, and that's why on the Quest, which I closed the window, I guess, accidentally. On the Quest, I changed the title to be Quest. I limited the bandwidth of the video coming in to be 4 megabits, and set the resolution to cap out at 1080, just so it would be a lot less hard on my Wi-Fi. And besides that, it was just, okay, so make sure you connect. If you don't have this, it might give an error, because it might not find it, even if you try to connect through the PowerShell. But this is basically it. So now, anytime I want to check out what's going on my Quest, I'm going to close all this stuff. I don't need it. I don't need that. I made a shortcut, and I showed you how to make the shortcut in the other video, so I won't go over it now, but I can double click on this, and there's my Quest.